are we?
That's what I'm talking about, talking about, talking about. That's what I'm talking about, talking about, talking about.
Recently, so we're in the early stages of the 2020 election cycle, and a historic candidate is coming onto the scene as a contender. He's not the first openly gay presidential candidate, but he's the first one that's ranked as high as he is. We have a little clip of him, and we'll be right back. So take a look at this.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Damn, you are so nice. Politics matters because it hits home. It hits home at our most vulnerable moments. Like the day last fall when I left my mother's hospital bedside to go find my dad across town in the middle of his chemotherapy treatment to let him know she was going to need immediate heart surgery. Not the kind of thing you put in a text message. So I had to go find him. By the way, Mom's fine. She's right over there. Right over there with my amazing in-laws, but that's a different story. So that tough day, I had a few things going for me, as difficult as it was. I had Father Brian, who gave the invocation today, who lifted us up with faith and companionship. And I had my husband, Chaston. He was right there at the hospital. He stayed there. He was at the hospital where he belonged. Because in the eyes of the hospital and the state and the law, he was not just someone I loved, he was my lawfully married spouse. Our marriage exists by the grace of a single vote on the U.S. Supreme Court. 9 women and men sat down in a room and took a vote, and they brought me the most important freedom in my life. Mom started getting better right away. Dad started getting worse. We lost him earlier this year. And as I watched things change, from him caring for her to her caring for him, and the two of us trying to take care of the two of them. Once again, we found our lives shaped by the decisions of those with power over us. Decisions that made us better off. Because some people in Washington made the decision to bring us something called Medicare. And so when I think about how we had to navigate those tough family decisions, I think about how fortunate we were that all we had to think about was what was right medically for Mom and Dad both, not whether our family was going to go bankrupt over this. That's how government touches our lives. It's how policies bring us freedom. And when it comes to health care, I want every American to have that same benefit.
So there he is. I'm not saying that I'm completely endorsing him, but he's on my short list. I like the guy. He's got personality, he's got intelligence, and that's certainly something that probably would do very well. That's how I feel about it.
I was watching it, and I already know who would be good to play him. One of my friends would be great. Sean, if you're watching this, we need to talk because
Sean H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be perfect. Anyway.
But I like him, and I think whether he ends up being a front runner or not, I think he would be an asset to the ticket, or at least the administration that will hopefully be coming into power in 2020. So
see what happens.
We'll see what happens, and get out there, be registered, and vote. That's my thoughts on the matter. But how are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, hanging in there. Just,
Windsor's hanging on.
I know. And the weather's so nuts, I don't know how to dress for it.
Yeah, 29 one day, 70 the next, and cold and flu.
Are my cheeks really red? Because it was windy today. It was like.
It's Rosie. You're Rosie.
Yeah. Rosie.
It's like the old aunts that everybody had that would come up and pinch your
Oh
cheeks.
God, I hated that.
Oh, such a cheek. Oh, give me such a pinch. For me, it was Tante Sophie.
Well, I do that to my baby friend. I'll just do this to her, and she goes, "My cheeks." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, I get it."
I wish
Boundaries.
I wish I had that when I was little.
2 years old. Don't do that. That little hand. I'm all about my 2-year-old friend. If you guys haven't guessed, she is like one of the things that is like a light in my life. I love this little girl. But my rat, because I know Renee was asking about my rat. Renee is our director. He's so fat, John.
Oh, really?
Okay, so if there's rat people watching, he started with bumblefoot on his rear right foot, and it's because it happens if the cage is dirty, or it's like walking in their own filth or whatever, or being on a hard surface all the time, or if your rat is obese. Avi got fat all of a sudden. Like, I don't know how it happened. A chocolate chip here, a couple frozen blueberries there. It adds up. And so he was like walking, and I thought he was having what happened to my other rat, and I was like, oh no, at least I know what's happening. So anyway, I've been treating it, and it looks better, but oh my God, he's so fat. And I realized how fat he was, like, cause he'll sit like this, and there's like he's playing bingo, like he's got bingo arms. Anyway, I'm like, when did this happen? He started walking, and his good foot was catching on the blubber in front of him, of it while he's walking. And I'm like, oh my God! So he's on a strict diet now, and he's like doing great. He's doing great.
Okay, good.
He's not feeling deprived.
Okay, or depressed, I hope.
No, he's so happy.
Okay, good.
So sweet. Comes to the cage every day. Hi, Mom.
Where's my chocolate chip?
No, he just gets the one frozen blueberry. That's it, and maybe a couple frozen peas, but not a lot.
Okay, very cool. So you have anything coming up also?
I do. I have the name of the show isn't titled yet, but Ames Beckerman is going to be producing another comedy show, I think at Rock Bar, and the first show is May 22nd. I don't remember what time, but I'll be doing that.
Okay. Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah. So and I think Gary Hannon's on the show too, and it's just going to be fun. I haven't seen him in forever, so yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I've been busy. Hernan's been in town for the week, so we've been kind of running around the city and doing a lot of stuff in the house. But we got a chance to go see the Cher show.
Was it good?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah, I'm a Cher fan. He's a huge Cher fan, so we enjoyed it a lot. And
Yeah.
it was a great afternoon, and it was surprisingly available at TKTS, so we got good seats at a good price.
That's fantastic.
So I recommend the show, and it's a jukebox musical, but it's a light biography. And one thing I noticed about it was Chaz was always referred to as Chaz, and in gender neutral terms. So that was just a little nugget that I picked up on along the way, and it's nice, it's respectful, and it's about her journey to her own empowerment, which I found a really, really wonderful story.
I love Cher.
Who doesn't?
Oh, her, Dolly Parton. Ugh, stop it.
Yeah, it's like I remember JC and I were doing a red carpet years ago for something, and Dolly Parton was there, and yeah, she was phenomenal. But and I understood immediately why the big hair and the big wigs.
Is she tiny?
She's tiny, and it balances her out. If she didn't have big hair, she would look like boobs on a stick.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's my feelings on the big hair.
My feelings on Dolly Parton are she is a living angel and a treasure.
Yes, and she does a lot for communities, and very giving person, and she comes from nothing, and she gives back to those who have nothing, and it's just a wonderful attribute. And I say all the time, if everybody spent one day of the year volunteering or doing some sort of community service or service for others, the world would be a much better place. So that's my feeling on that. So summer's coming, and use one of your vacation days for it. So, and there we have it.
There you have it, folks.
So.